Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is my reaction to the just finished UFC 315 event. Yeah, it was kind of entertaining, but now it's very late, so I'm gonna hopefully deal with this quickly and yeah, give you my reaction to the fights. So let's hop right into it. The first fight of the night we had in the bantamweight division, we had Brett Katona versus Beksat Almakhan. I thought that Almakhan was making a lot of early reads on Brett Katona, like saw his blitz coming every time, and one time he just blitzed into a takedown attempt and rushed into an uppercut and got finished on the ground for the first time ever in his career. So Beksat Almakhan seems to be the real deal, and he got the KO in the first round. Great finish, amazing power, great start to the night. We move on. We had in the featherweight division, we had Daniel Santos versus Lee Jong-yong. I have to say, Daniel Santos looks really small at featherweight, so it was on short notice. I hope he goes back to bantamweight because he looked kind of small at featherweight and undersized. Yeah, and the first round of the fight I thought was really a good one. Was also really close, but I thought that Santos landed a little bit more, and when he landed with more power. He was the more vicious striker of the two. In the second, I thought that Santos' combos were just killing Lee. They were so fast with some brutal body shots mixed in them, and yeah, Santos took the second round in my books. More of the same in the third, until the very last minute, when Santos looked a little bit tired, I thought. But short notice, he cruised for the remainder of the round and got a unanimous decision victory. My bad. Unanimous decision victory. I thought overall in the throughout the fight that Lee just threw power and single shots, and he got countered very effectively. So I have to say Daniel Santos looked small but great. So yeah, good for him. We move on. We had in the middleweight division, we had Marc-André Barriault versus Bruno Silva. Yeah, fun fight as long as it lasted. I have to say that I thought that Bruno Silva looked kind of gun shy from the starting bell, basically. I don't know. He maybe got hit too much, and yeah, it hinders his own offense, I think. At some point, Barriault got into the clinch, and from the clinch, basically, he hit Silva with some nasty elbows, and one of them hurt Silva bad. He dropped down, and Barriault finished him off with some nasty ground and pound shots. Yep. And Silva was out bad. But we heard later that he was fine afterwards. Glad to hear that. We move on to the prelims. We had in the light heavyweight division, we had Navajo Sterling versus Ivan Erslan. And I have to say, in the beginning of the fight, Erslan started very strong. I thought my pick might be completely wrong because he caught Sterling a couple of times and he cut him very bad. I think right over the bridge of the nose and into his eye, kinda. But the longer the round went, the better Sterling came into it, and he got his kicks off and combos. Yeah, but I thought he still lost the first round on based on damage to Ivan Aslan, because he was just visibly, he was very bloody, opened up, and he was, yeah, kind of at least knocked off balance with these combos in the beginning. In the second round, somehow, and I don't understand why, but Arslan initiates the grappling and pays by getting taken down himself. Controlled a little bit, but it gets back to his feet after, I think, like a minute on the ground. Yeah, Sterling then dominates the stand-up for the rest of the round and takes the round in my books. The third round starts even in stand-up. It was kind of close, kind of a toss-up, but yeah, Sterling later drops Arslan and dominates from there, and that's why I gave him the third round as well, and the judges agreed with me. So yeah, he got a unanimous decision victory. We move on to no, we stay in the light heavyweight division. Actually, we had Modestas Bukauskas versus Ion Cutelaba. Yeah, it was a pretty close first round. I thought that, first of all, I thought that watching the Hulk so patient is really strange. The last two fights, this one and the one before, was really looks like a different fighter, but probably a little less fan-friendly, but a lot more effective, I think. But I still thought that in the first round, Bukauskas landed the better shots. He didn't land more, but he landed better, I thought. So I gave him the first. In the second, the first half of the round, basically nothing happened. Then Cutelaba throws something all the time. There's something out there, and that kind of like rattled Bukauskas, and he, for a while, he wasn't sure what to do with that, and so yeah, I gave the second round to Ion Cutelaba just on volume, because he just threw something out, and Bukauskas kind of stood there and evaded a lot of those shots and parried a lot of them, but yeah, just basically I gave it to Cutelaba on activity. In the third, where's my line? Oh my god, I lost my line. In the third, Bukauskas was more busy from the start. He was controlling the stand-up and he was cutting Cutelaba bad in the third. So I gave the third to Bukauskas again. So in my books, it was the 2-1 to Bukauskas. The commentary was really weirdly for Cutelaba, I think, on this one. I understand that you could give the first to Cutelaba, but it was a close round. I felt like it was fair to give it to Bukauskas, but the judging was really weird, because one judge had it 30-27 to Cutelaba, while the other two judges had it 30-27 Bukauskas and 29-28 Bukauskas. It was really weird, because I don't think that I felt like the second round was clearly Cutelaba's, and the third round was clearly Bukauskas. You can argue about the first, but, well, it was weird. Let's leave it at that. We move on. Oh, my bad. The split decision victory for Bukauskas stands. So, yeah, as I said, on my scorecard, he was winning anyways, so I'm fine with that decision. We move on. Women's flyweights. We had Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. Let me check. Let me remind myself what her name sounded like. Jasmine Jasudavicius. Just the vicious? Just the vicious? No. Just the just oh my god. Just the vicious. Vicious? Just the vicious? Jasmine, just the vicious, I think. I pronounce this like buffer now. So let's try not to say the name again. Fight was sweet and short. Was complete domination by the Canadian fighter once again. And as soon as she got the takedown, she drags Andrade to the ground. And yeah, after a short scramble, she gets the back and gets the rear naked choke and yeah, gets the finish in the first round for Just the Vicious. Jasmine, Just the Vicious. I think I got it now. Yeah. It was a short fight, but a great performance for her. I think she's going to get a #1 contender spot next. Or is she? No. Maybe against Natalia Silva. Could be a fun fight. Or against Grasso for #1 contendership. Anyways, we move on. Welterweights, we had Mike Malott versus Charlie Radke. Yeah, also this fight was not that long. The first, I thought that Malott took just by with sheer volume and distance management. Charlie Radke just didn't seem to be getting really into the fight. But Radke looked dangerous throughout the round, and he also was the one that drew first blood in the first round. But I still gave it to Malott. In the second, Malott hits Radke with a slick combo. He smells blood and follows up, drops him, and finishes him with precise ground and pound. Was really fun to see, and a great KO for Mike Malott. Yeah, might be a performance of the night for him. Who knows? We move on though. Oh, my bad. There it is. And we move on. The main card, we had the lightweights. We had Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Prepolec, I think they called him. Yeah, I said before, last minute replacement, but for everything bad I said before this fight, Prepolec actually looked good. In the first, he as long as it was on the feet, I thought he gave Benoit Saint-Denis a couple of good strikes to watch out for. Hit him with a couple of those. So he is actually UFC level. I wasn't sure before this fight, but he definitely has proven that he is. Still, I gave the first to Benoit Saint-Denis because at some point he just took him down and controlled and yeah, ground and pounded him, elbowed him a lot from short distance. He just stepped over his one leg and yeah, stepped in. I think he had his leg wrapped within the leg of Kyle Prepolec, which stopped him from getting up. And yeah, he landed some elbows and shots from there. In the second, it looked actually like Prepolec hurt Benoit Saint-Denis a couple of times, but at some point, Saint-Denis again got the takedown and turns it into an arm triangle and gets the submission victory. So, yeah, turns out great for Benoit Saint-Denis. I think he might have gotten a little bit early back into the ring after his last lost to Moicano because he was really... He didn't look the same on the feet. And yeah. But still, great performance. He got the job done, but on the feet, I think, yeah, he looked tentative tonight. We move on. Oh, my bad. I again forgot it. It's a new feature I I just invented, and no, I didn't invent it, but I implemented it, and so I'm not yet used to it. So stay tuned for upgrades in that. We move on. We had in the women's flyweight division, we had Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. And yeah, I was praising Natalia Silva beforehand, and yeah, for good reason, I say. Silva controlled the stand-up with her explosive kicks. Grasso shows real desperation after Silva slipped once. She just tried to grab her and take her down. But yeah, at that point, even then, Silva was able to slip out and take the first round dominantly, I thought. Second round, Grasso looked frustrated. She couldn't find Silva just until the very few last seconds, and even in that exchange, I thought that Silva got the better of her. So yeah. Clearly, second round for Natalia Silva. In the third, I have to give it to Grasso. Tremendous urgency from her. She really bit down and went for it and tried. But still, Silva was landing hard on her, and she did all the damage. So, yeah. I gave all 3 rounds to Silva. I think the judges did too. I'm not sure if I'm correct about this. Let me check. Yeah, they agreed with me. And here it is. Unanimous decision for Natalia Silva, who's moving up the rankings. And yeah, we'll see. Number 1 contender fight next, or even for the belt. Since Shevchenko defended, probably for the belt even. Who else? We move on. Bantamweight division. Jose Aldo versus Ayman Zahabi. I was saying bad things about this fight before. I knew before that this fight would be good. But I just didn't like the fight because I think that Jose Aldo deserved more. And especially how this fight turned out to be. And him retiring right then and there, he deserved better. I'm sorry to say it this harshly, but he deserved better. Okay, let's talk about the fight. We had good combos from Jose Aldo in the first round. Zahabi kind of looked hesitant, a little bit gun-shy, opened up a little bit at the end of the round, but still Aldo won the first round in my books. In the second round was a lot of back and forth, but again, Jose Aldo did more damage, and I gave him the second round. The third might be the I'm pretty sure it's the best round of this year, except for maybe, yeah, I'll stick to that. Maybe the ground and pound part at the end was kind of slow paced, but other than that, amazing round. Aldo hurt Zahabi early. No, it wasn't that early, I think. It was like 1.5 minutes in, something like that. He hurts him bad, and he chases him through the cage and from end to end, but he can't just put him away, and he completely blows his gas. Has nothing left. Tries even I've never seen Jose Aldo shoot for a takedown, but he did. Doesn't get it, and I think you can call it he pulled guard. And Zahabi makes him pay with vicious ground and pound. He had some GSP-esque. Let me just send the spider away before she jumps onto the camera. like I was really reminded of GSP versus Bisping with some of the way Zahabi threw the elbows. Tristar has really good elbows, I have to say. Looked really impressive, and in his final interview, you can see on Jose Aldo's face how lethal those elbows were. Yeah, but he couldn't finish Jose, and with Jose hurting and dropping Zahabi early, I still gave it a 10-9 to Zahabi, not more. So yeah, I gave him the third round. And somehow the judges gave it a unanimous decision, 29-28, throughout all three judges to Zahabi. I don't understand how they gave him the second. No. I understand that some people, I have to say it completely different because that's not what I meant. I understand that some people gave him the second, but I simply disagree. So Jose Aldo in his last fight, in my book, didn't get dropped. No, he didn't get dropped, but he should have won that fight. Yeah. But it ended anyways the way it ended, so kudos to Ayman Zahabi. Gets a win over a legend, deserved or not. I'm not a judge, so congratulations to Ayman Zahabi. We move on. Co-main event of the evening, we had the Women's Flyweight Championship on the line. Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. And yeah, after a feeling out process in the first, Shevchenko starts to land hard on Fiorot, cuts her, takes her down afterwards, and just controls the round from top. So clearly she won the first. The second was much better from Fiorot, but she was still eating a lot of shots. She was controlling the clinch situations, and that's why I gave her the second round. In the third, I thought was a strong answer from Shevchenko. She captured that with a late knockdown. Yeah, clearly I gave her the third. No, I skipped the line. Damn it. The third was the fourth I was talking about. The third was very close. I thought that Fiorot did more, but Valentina did more damage. But still, in my opinion, Manon Fiorot took the third. In the fourth, there was the strong answer from Valentina Shevchenko. She captured it with the late knockdown to take the round. Yeah, clearly in my books. In the fifth, as I said, in my scorecard, it was 2-2. So I was really perplexed by this fifth round because it was weirdly uneventful. It was too close to call on most judging criteria, so I went to control, and control, I have to say, went to Fiorot. So I would have understood if they would have given it to Fiorot. I hope that the reasoning they gave it to Valentina wasn't that you gotta be, if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man, because I don't think it's like that. If you're the better person on that night and you're fighting for the championship, then you're the champion, and that's how it should be. If they just scored it differently, that's fine. But if the reasoning was she's the champion and she didn't do enough to take it from her, then that's just wrong reasoning in my opinion. But if they just scored it that way, that's fair. We move on. Oh, my bad. Unanimous decision for Valentina Shevchenko, as I said. She even got a 49-46, I think, in this one. Yeah. But again, we got another way shown by a challenger how to beat Valentina Shevchenko. She doesn't like these clinch situations. She doesn't like to get pushed into the fence by a stronger girl. Manofio was the stronger girl tonight and exposed that. And I think she could have done a lot more from that situation, from that clinch situation, I think. She should have done a lot more. We move on. Main event, welterweight division championship on the line, Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena. I predicted Belal and I was wrong, but we go round by round. It was a great start for the challenger. He was hitting the bigger shots and taking round one easily. Second was more close, but still Della Maddalena was defending every takedown attempt from Belal. And he was landing the bigger shots. So, second round, Della Maddalena. In the third, he starts to style on him. He was just clowning on him a little bit, bobbing his head right in front of him, and yeah. I thought that Belal Muhammad kind of looked like he was in shock. Until that point, I did not really check the stats, but I would be surprised if he attempted more than 5. I think he attempted 3 throughout the first 3 rounds in total. But I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it's at most 5. Yeah, so I gave the third again to Della Maddalena. So if it was going to the scorecards, JDM already did enough. The fourth was the closest one so far. I thought that Muhammad did enough to win this one because he just was relentless with his pressure. He didn't get much done. I thought, yeah, the commentary booth was overhyping the shots that Belal Muhammad was connecting with. It didn't look like they faced JDM. They didn't look like they had a lot of steam on them. So, yeah, I just gave it, because of the pressure, I gave the fourth to Belal. The fifth was brutal. The fifth was really a brutal last round. Belal, for a while, tried everything, but just couldn't keep Jack Della Maddalena down. He took him down like 1 or 2 times, and JDM just popped right back up, who eventually then did damage to Belal Muhammad. His face looked different, very, very red after the fight, so yeah. I gave the fifth again to JDM, so I had it 4-1. I think one judge agreed with me, and the other 2 had it 48-47 for JDM to become the new UFC welterweight champion of the world. Throughout the fight, I thought that Muhammad seemed lost, at least for the first parts of the fight, because he just couldn't keep JDM down, and then in the third and fourth he tried to just do it with volume and pressure and had a little bit of success, but in the end JDM's striking techniques and takedown defense proved to be too much for Belal Muhammad to overcome tonight. Great defensive wrestling overall. So my final reflect on the event. Oh no, we talk about the picks first, because I had the best picks ever. I had 10 of my 12 picks were correct, and I argue that Jose Aldo should have won against Ayman Zahabi as well. So as you can see, if we switch back and forth quickly, that only 2 lines are changed, and that's the top and the third from top. And as I said, I would argue that Jose Aldo should have won that fight against Ayman Zahabi. But yeah, we're not going to argue it. 10 out of 12 is fine for me. I'm happy with that. The way of the win was rarely correct tonight, but other than that, yeah, I predicted 10 of 12. I think that's my best score so far. So I'm happy with that. Last but not least, no, not last, not yet. Last but not least. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just changed something else. I want to do this. So we're gonna go over the results quickly. We had Beksat Almakhan knocking Brett Katona out. We had Daniel Santos getting a unanimous decision over Lee Jeong-yong. Marc-André Barriault KOs Bruno Silva. Navajo Sterling gets a unanimous decision victory over Ivan Erslan. Modestas Bukauskas a split decision victory over Ion the Hulk Kutalaba. God, I can't speak anymore. It's too late. I have to go to bed. I'm sorry. Jasmine Justavicius submits Jessica Andrade in the first round. Mike Malott KOs Charlie Radke. Benoit Saint-Denis submits Kyle Prepolets. Natalia Silva gets a dominant decision win over Alexa Grasso. Ayman Zahabi, a very controversial unanimous decision win over Jose Aldo, who retires. Valentina Shevchenko, also, in my opinion, a kind of controversial victory over Manon Fiorot. But, as I said, was really, really, really close. So I understand if you have it the other way. And last but not least, we had Jack Della Maddalena with the performance of his career. Gets a unanimous decision. Really, there's no chance tonight for Belal Muhammad. All right, that's that. Do I keep my head there? Nah, we move back here. All right. My final thoughts about the event. First of all, I want to say that in the beginning of the broadcast, John Anik mentioned that it was surprising to him that so many fans showed up for the early prelims, and he gave them props for it. I think that if the UFC would tour more, if you went to different places a lot more, you would not have that problem, because people that can see you like the shows in Vegas like once a month, then you go there maybe once a year. But there's a lot of cities that have a lot of people that want to watch your fights, and they can come there in their city once every 5 years maybe. Even if you would tour more, it would still, for many big cities, be like this. And they will come for the prelims. So just move around a little bit, less Apex cards, please, and you won't have that problem. All right. We had an amazing first fight of the night. Was really a great performance by Almakhan. Next up, I thought judging is still a big problem in the UFC. We had a lot of weird decisions, a lot of weird. The weirdest was the Ion Kutalaba versus Bukauskas fight. That shouldn't have happened. That just can't happen. You can't have a 30-27 or 27-30 in a fight with clear round winners in some points, I think. It's just, that's a big problem that needs fixing. Okay, then I have to say a big shout out for to the UFC, because the Vitor induction into the Hall of Fame was great. Even though he has some PED problems in his past, I'd say Vitor Belfort was always one of my favorite fighters, and he's for sure one of the most fan-friendly fighters ever. So yeah, he deserves a spot in the UFC Hall of Fame, and I'm glad he got it. And with a good tribute to his career as well. All right, next up, yeah, Valentina lives for another day. Again, there's another way to beat Valentina, clinch her, put it against the cage. But she still won tonight, and Belal didn't. So his reign ends with no title defenses. Yeah, and we're probably gonna see JDM versus Islam next. Then I want to say that all but 2 of my picks were correct. And I would still argue that Jose Aldo won that fight, so it should be 11 out of 12. And lastly, I'm going to say, what a night for Canada. What a night for Canada. I mean, let me move me again. Can I, if I mark this, and do you see this? No. Ooh. That was bad. Okay, not bad. We're back. I can't highlight it. But we have Katona losing, the first Canadian losing, but after that we have Barrio winning. Where's the next Canadian? Of course, it's just a vicious. Mike Malott winning, Benoit Saint-Denis winning, even Ayman Zahabi winning. And so that's all the Canadians. And they all won except for Brett Katona and, of course, Prepolets, but he was fighting another Canadian, so there can only be one winner. So, great night for Canadian mixed martial arts. Congratulations to all the winners of tonight. And yeah, I'm excited to see Islam at welterweight, actually. I'm sad that we won't see Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev for now. Maybe down the line, but looks like for now, we won't see that. Sad. That's it for tonight. I hope you guys had a blast. I had one, but now I gotta go to bed, so I see you guys in the next one. See you.